The title is very interesting. It gives a deeper meaning.
The film is quite episodic in nature.
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಯಾವಾಗ?
ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಡೇಗೆ.
ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಫುಲ್ಲು ಓದ್ಲಾ?
Cop character, we have seen you in Kavaludari. Again, playing a cop role, but this time like a puzzle cop.
The only change that you could actually bring about is which could be a little edgy and something that differentiates my character from Kavaludari.
ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ತಿಂತೀರಾ ಸರ್?
Do you think stories based on real incidents can bring authenticity?
The conflicts that exist in this world is something that you can relate to. I think that's far more powerful, I feel.
25 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಬಸ್ಸು ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ?
You want to take time to be the mass hero.
Show me as this larger than life character or something which is heroic and stuff like that. You know, these are the elements.
ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದವರೆಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಅಂಡರ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕಣ.
What can they expect with Rudra Garuda Purana?
An honest attempt at narrating a story in the most engaging way.
Congratulations on your fatherhood.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
How is it, the feeling? So as an actor, are you getting the paternity leave?
Not really, but trying to manage. In fact, daytime cinema kelskadu, night time it's been father duties.
That's fine. Okay. 5th year in the industry.
Correct.
And how many movies?
This is going to be my 5th theatrical film.
One film per year.
Roughly, no. In fact, actually, Almelamma came out in 2017. So, Madhudali, we lost 2 years because of COVID. Alva. So, Hagagi, I think those 2 years, in fact, technically, when you look at timelines, you will see 2 years as COVID. But cinema industry went back, andre, the process of making films went back by many, many years. And we had to like sort of give up on many of the ideas that we had and now start looking at stories in a different way, because suddenly COVID, what it did was it fastened a lot of things. Like, andre, suddenly the kind of exposure that people had towards content and world films got accelerated, in my opinion, by at least 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
So what probably you would have expected to happen 15 years later, people started watching all kinds of content and they became more educated, more knowledgeable. And once you have a taste of that, your standards go higher, as in audience expectations goes higher. So Hagagi, I think that also sort of set us back.
But for me, when I think, okay, Rishi, from Operation Alamelamma, again, a 2-year whatever gap you had, then came Kavaludari.
Yeah.
When you did Operation Alamelamma, I said, an actor has arrived. Really, okay. When you did Kavaludari, okay, he's getting into a commercial entertainer.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
In between, you tried your efforts, but films didn't work out the way you expected.
Yeah, true.
But somewhere, I felt like straight away to ask you, is Rishi not getting the right kind, that meaningful stories you expect from Kannada writers and directors?
The way I look at things is, it's nice you brought up Almelamma, because let me tell everyone that why this interview is special is because you were the first one who wrote an article about me. I still remember, I think we had just started the shoot of Almelamma, and the first call that I got from media was yours. And
we were looking for, who is this Rishi?
Yeah. So, and because of you, I think my name is still mentioned as Manish Rishi everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Even on IMDb and everything, which I'm trying to ask my team, if you can just make a change.
Okay.
So you were the first one who made a call and asked, I heard, your film started with Simple Sunny today, and would you like to talk about it? I'm like, how do you know? Like, we have never spoken about it. We thought we are making a very secret film that nobody knows, and this is like...
Nothing is secretive.
And I'm like, I think the first question was, how do you know? And because we had just finished the Muhurta, and I was about to go for my first shot, and that's when I was talking to you, and you're like, no, I know. Don't think that I don't know. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm really impressed by how you've got the news. It's true. And somehow you were so nice and so warm that I end up talking so much about it without even knowing that I'm talking to a reporter. And you even took out like a tentative name. And you asked me, what is the tentative name for the film? So I said, we don't know, but it might be Operational Almelamma.
You're recalling so much, I know.
Yeah, no, I recall because I'll tell you. And then later, The next time, I mean, you had mentioned in your article saying that Simple Sunni's film with Rishi is titled as Operation Almelama, tentatively or something like that. We had not fixed on the title by then. We were just toying with that idea, and we had no idea that we are going to fix this as a title. And then after your article came out was when we actually started looking at the title very seriously. Till then, it was just a thought. It was not at all a title that we had thought of. So you have played a role in fixing the title of Operation Almelama.
Oh, that's nice.
And
Thanks for revealing it so.
no, I mean it. And we've been talking over phone, and very happy that first time I'm talking to you directly talking. How I look at your question is, when I came to make my first film or my first appearance, I think all I wanted was to probably get a film and do a film as a lead actor, something that people end up watching in theaters, and probably deep down I wanted people to also accept me as this boy who could be an actor. And that was all the ambition that I had. And I think later when I ended up doing like second film, third film, fourth film, fifth film, I feel I have already gotten whatever I had dreamt of. So,
Right in your first movie?
right after the first film did very well,
Okay.
I thought I had already gotten what I had dreamt of. So then later, whatever I am trying to do now is, what can I do to probably say something to the society which is slightly more meaningful?
Okay.
Because what I dreamt of being a cinema hero, I've become that. Now with this that I have, what is it that I could contribute or do something to the people? Because stories of cinemas are very powerful. You know, it can really inspire people or give a new perspective, new thought. So what is it that I can do? I think my day in, day out, what I wake up for, my purpose starts and ends there. So don't really look at anything else beyond that. And I've been very fortunate that even today, when I've taken, as in my theatrical release has taken such a long time, but still the number of people who still call me and say that, we have a story and we only thought of you while writing the story, and hence we wanted to pitch it to you and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm very, I feel very grateful about it, because there's been a considerable amount of time since my film released, and still someone is still thinking about me and writing the story. That gives me a lot of motivation, saying that, okay, you got to take whatever you're doing very seriously and probably put in more effort. I work very hard. I don't take even a single day for granted, so I'm always working. Sometimes mounting a film takes time, because it's not just my work. You have to bring in a team together, and all of them have to be aligned with the vision of the team, and then you need to be excited about the character you're playing, the story that you want to do, and everything. And it does become more harder for an outsider. Let me be very honest.
Outsider in the sense like not being part of
the film industry, because it does become slightly more harder that way. Nothing against anything or anyone, but it does sometimes it just takes a little more time and effort than anything else, and that also takes away some time. But I have been very grateful of my journey, and I don't have any complaints about something not having landed the way I probably wanted. So I'm still very thrilled and excited to look in the mirror and see and realize that I am a film hero.
What kind of an actor you wanted to be when you entered, and are you still following the path?
No, I'm still discovering now. In fact, day in, day out, if in case, since we are talking today, I can say that I'm still discovering, and I think that's constantly there. It's a constant process.
Because with your personality, we always like, okay, this Rishi can be a mass hero.
Yeah. Do you think so?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I enjoy, because I love commercial films, and one of the biggest feedback or the biggest reactions that I've been getting after our film's trailer, Rudra Garuda Purana's trailer came out, is that this is something that suits you really well. Why don't you do more of this, more of the mass?
But you blend commercial and content.
Yeah.
That is very important for an actor.
Yeah,
That's-
I try to. As in, like I said, I only try to find meaning in whatever I'm doing and try to see if in case there's some value addition somewhere to the society somehow, or if someone watches the film, of course, yes, it's for entertainment. We always, whatever we do is for entertainment. But along with entertainment, is there something that we can talk about which matters to the society? And that matters to me. That's it. And in that process, probably if someone finds that my cinema has content, it's just a byproduct of that. I don't really look at, oh, is this a content-driven film? Let's do it. No, I don't think of it that way.
Don't you think it's important, to match the audience expectations?
Absolutely. See, that's a different game altogether. As in, that's why it's so important that whenever we announce a project, we have to set the expectations right. The teaser plays a very important role. In fact, the title of the film plays a very important role. The poster plays a very important role. Trailer plays a very important role. I think most of the time, if you set an expectation about what you want to deliver, if you're going to promise the audience this is what you want to deliver, and if you deliver that and beyond that, the film is always a success. When you over-promise and under-deliver, even if what you've delivered is something that is exceptional, commercially you will have issues. Commercially, people will feel disappointed and all of that. So expectations in our industry is very, very critical, and managing those expectations is something that we have to be very mindful of.
Okay. Also, I don't see Rishi, unlike a few actors who are now, the release time, you don't go out and...
But I'm here.
yeah, that's very nice. That's grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But you don't like that, promoting, blowing your trumpet before the film's release.
I'm very uncomfortable talking about my work, saying that this is something phenomenal and stuff like that. I'm still finding it, even when I'm pretty thrilled about the work that I've done, I am not very comfortable going out and saying that I've done very good work, please come. Something that I'm very, very uncomfortable about. And so, like I said, I think sometimes you don't know, because you get carried away when you're making a film. You're working day in and day out. Obviously, you get emotional about it and you start overthinking about it, and you end up believing that what you are doing is something exceptional and stuff like that. But taking an objective viewpoint is a little harder once you're deeply invested in a project. So that takes a bit of a thing. So I would always look for an objective viewpoint. That usually comes after the dubbing and after I see the final cut. I try to detach myself and see the film from an outsider and see, where does this stand and stuff like that. So, but having said that, I would always, I always believe in making sure that, you go out and still, talk about what are the things that you truly believe in, without being very snobby about it or, overly cocky about it. So.
Okay. When I watched the rushes of Rudra Garuda Purana, I was like, this is something different. Okay, cop role is there, but something different. There's a mystery, and you try to do. Apart from acting in front of the camera, what else, other aspects you enjoy while doing a movie?
Before I answer that, what did you think of the trailer?
It's very nice.
You liked it?
Yeah, and there's a lot of suspense. There's something you look forward to.
Nice.
And that when you have a blind eye, you are only not you're wrapping up so much about the movie, but still you're saying something.
Saying something.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you. That's probably what we intended to, and if it's resonated the right way, we are very happy. We have to accept that whatever work we are doing in film industry, we are making it for people, right? As in, and hence taking feedback or something is very important. Of course, like you said, I do check, is this working? My job is mostly to make sure that I impress my director first, because he's the one who's already seen the film and visualized it and stuff like that. Is he happy, having cast me? That's my first audience, and once my director is happy, I'm the most relaxed person ever. And then it's my producer, is he happy? And then commercially, is it going to be safe? And then is the distributor safe? And all these questions come later. So after having done that, sometimes you overthink about it, and that's when usually, I also try and ask, is this something that you felt, or what do you think worked? What is it something that it didn't work? Because over a period of time, you also tend to evolve, and understand how the society functions. Before Almelama, how I was and how I was looking at films was totally different than how I look at it now, because now I understand how different regions view films. Like say people who sit in Bangalore, the way they watch films is totally different than how people in Shimoga would probably watch it, or probably in Davangere or in Hubli or Belgaum. So it's very important to go there and see what people are expecting in a film. What we think is probably formulaic or something that is constructed, like say, you have 4 songs, 4 fights or something like that, and sometimes people look down on it, saying that, okay, this is very too formulaic, it's too conventional, it's too routine and all of that, but that's exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
When I go out there, they're like, why are you not having 4 films in your films?
Yeah.
Why are you not having 4 fights in your thing? And I'm like, yeah, but people look down on it. People don't really appreciate that.
You're not that, you don't try to be that safe actor, okay?
Yeah.
As far as, my movies are running, okay? You are taking risk, that is for sure. I see that.
Yeah, I try to. But when you make these visits, what happens, that's when you realize that, oh no, when someone is coming to the theatre paying 100, 150 rupees, 200 rupees, this is what they're expecting. Now, I cannot be judgmental and say that, just because, we look down on certain things, doesn't mean that, there's no audience for it. There's a huge audience for that. And those are the learnings that happens, Sometimes we can't get too critical about it, too judgmental about certain things or the way Indian films have evolved and start looking down on them. Sometimes, if we have taken this as a profession, you might as well do what the audience wants.
Yeah.
And if I'm here to please the audience, to entertain the audience, I might as well do what they want, right? And there are times when probably you would do a film for yourself, for your creative high and everything else. That happens. But if they are expecting something from you, give them what they want. Then automatically you'll take care. For me, also to answer the other part of your question about what my interests are and what do I do and things like that, it's usually, I have this belief that as an actor or as a creative individual, no matter, even if I say that this is my profession and I've taken this up as a serious job, sometimes, you can't be doing this day in, day out.
Yeah.
Because your creative juices just get extinct and will not be there. So you have to go out and probably get exposed to various parts of life, interact with people, do other works, understand, what really matters to people, how society functions, what are the new trends, etc. You have to be constantly there. Only then I think you become a good actor. I think there's no better acting institute than, just surrendering to life and observing things. Nobody can teach that. I think that's what makes a good actor. And even when you see a lot of great actors, they're all very connected, very rooted to the society, and they understand people's pulse, they understand people's emotions really well.
But then when we say, okay, he's gone by the director's vision and all, but today, truly, if you can admit, like actors don't get involved in the whatever intricacies of what director and wants to do. He discusses, not only discussion, you also take a call. Like it's important for an actor to take a call.
Yeah, ultimately how I'm viewing at it right now is film is always a director's medium. It is always a director's vision, and sometimes it's better to stick to one vision. You might have a point of view, you might contradict to what the director probably wants. And most of the time, see, directors are also very hungry for getting good performances or something good for their film. And when they feel there is something that's making sense, 99.9% of the time they take it. So if it's something that is not honest to the story or the vision that they have created, obviously they'll feel that they can see through that and they'll be like, no, this is a selfish need of the actor and this has got nothing to do with the story. Obviously they'll not take that. So you have to surrender to the director. It is a director's vision at the end of the day. And when the director is executing things the way he wants, I think the film will eventually look good.
About the title and the story, like not all what is written or read can be believable, I feel.
Okay.
When something about a real life incident and something which has happened, I don't know, decades ago, about a flight missing and disappearing and appearing after 25 years. Did you believe when the first time the director told you about this story?
No, he didn't tell me this story.
Okay.
So what he told me was a different line, as in about the bus and things like that.
Okay. So
But
we started straight away with the bus.
We met for another story, and then during the course of the conversation, this story came up, and somehow organically what happens, certain stories have some magical power, so probably, there's a character like this, and one day he encounters something like this, and he goes through this journey, and then this happens, that happens, and finally he ends up there. And I'm like, wow, this is roughly as brief
Sketch.
a sketch that he gave. And I'm like, okay, there's already a clear story that I see as a feature film, and I think there's potential in this. And he said, yes, I've already worked on this. And then my question was, which story do you think you're more confident about? Then he said, I'm more confident about this and stuff like that, and that's how we started off.
Okay. But basically, whenever he told you about this flight disappearing and appearing,
it just brings in a lot of doubt. What is it? What kind of a crazy story is this and stuff like that? And then he said, sir, no, you please go Google about it. It's a real fact and stuff like that. And when I Googled, indeed, I found a lot of conspiracy theories and everything. And I'm like, oh, what is this? A lot of cock and bull. But eventually, these kind of conspiracy theories do exist. A lot of such incidents are there for which there's no answer to. Exactly. And people are still decoding and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. But with the title as Rudra Garuda Purana, story is narrated through a bus, Kaveri Express.
Yeah.
So how does this come about? The title is very interesting. It gives a deeper meaning.
Deeper meaning, yeah.
Yes.
Basically, Garuda Purana talks about all the punishments that are usually given for criminals and people who do the wrong things, and Rudra is the character name, and hence the title. And like you said, in fact, before I answer that, the film is quite episodic in nature. It's not like your typical where right at the beginning of the film we are getting into this case and we're going, etc., etc. It's not like that. There's a considerable amount of time spent on establishing who the character is and what does he believe in and stuff like that. And then when the second act starts, when this case comes, he also has a lot of personal conflicts by then. And here is a case where usually if you can see a person or if you have a suspect, then probably the investigation process is far more easier. But when your suspect is someone that you can't even see or you don't even know where to go, is it supernatural, is it something else, that makes it even more complicated. And that's when I think that the cinema also starts, for the audience, I think they'll be like very glued to their seats to figure out what happens next and stuff like that. When I heard the story, that's how I was. And
as a cop character, we have seen you in Kavaludari. You fit the bill. But again, playing a cop role, but this time a sincere cop. But you also look like a puzzle cop. Was this a challenge, to be that puzzle cop?
Here I think, and I've been saying this time and again, it's very hard to bring out a difference in another cop character, because you're wearing the same uniform and you look pretty much the same, because you can't play around too much with the looks because you're wearing a uniform. The only change that you could actually bring about is with the way the characterization comes across. And organically, when Nandi sir had already figured out this character, after I took the narration and understood and went through the screenplay and everything, there were, I think, one thing that I found which could be a little edgy and something that differentiates my character from Kavludari. That was, some amount of sarcasm in Rudra, and some amount of additional aggression. I think these are things which were organically emerging from this character when I was sort of like, say, reading the script or narration, taking the narration. And then I thought, okay, this could be an interesting thing to play around with the character. I'm hoping that when people watch Kavludari's case, Shyam and Rudra here, I think they'll be able to differentiate between the two characters as audience, and feel that maybe there's something different about each.
Okay. Do you think stories based on real incidents can bring authenticity to the screen?
Yeah, absolutely. As in, where I believe is, I'm not sure about storyline, because sometimes real stories might not be easier to make on, as a feature film, because they might be quite a lot in detail and we might not be able to fit that in a 2-hour structure. But where authenticity matters is when you're taking stories, the world building that happens with these stories is what matters, when you're building a world which is very believable.
Okay.
And when you're building characters which are very believable, something that you can relate to, and the conflicts that exist in this world is something that you can relate to, I think that's far more powerful, I feel.
Okay.
And with all this, if you can have a story which is organically fitting, like say with a standard starting, middle and end, then I think you have a killer combination.
Okay.
But sometimes you might have like great stories, but they might be more suited for an OTT web show, which is for a longer format. You'll get more time, spending more time on the details of it and things like that. So the authenticity is very crucial. Like you said, that's something that can either make or break a film. Either you make the story and the characters and everything so believable, or you create a world which is extremely believable and put very interesting characters to it.
You're broadening your horizons. You've stepped into Telugu. You've also done a web series. And the recent one example is Daku Maharaj. And you play a villain. Like playing a villain was more, you find more liberation than being a hero.
It is, as in, it is as in, you don't have to, as in probably, you don't have many rules to follow, why probably people enjoy playing the bad guys, because you don't follow rules. There are no rules for bad boys. And it was fun, and not that I did it to have fun like that or something like that. I think the reason I ended up doing Daku was mostly to do with how warm the team was, and how affectionately the team approached, and how they probably spoke to me with a lot of respect, and made assured me that they're going to treat this with a lot of respect and care. And I think instantly when you meet someone, you know that they're nice people, and the moment you have that vibe, no matter what, I would want to work with them and stuff like that. It's just that ultimately I'm an artist, and the ambition is not for money or anything else. The ambition is to work with good people who you respect and like. It was just that.
So you're getting established in Telugu. So what is the perspective, how films are made there? And there is a thin line, I'm sure. You can differentiate when you go there and when your films are celebrated in a different way than in Kannada.
I think the only difference that I see is probably there's a very strong culture towards watching films in theaters. That's something that I feel we have lost in the past 2 decades somehow. But something that they have successfully managed to do is make sure that the culture doesn't go so easily. So even when you see the kind of walk-ins that they have, in the two Telugu states, is far higher, many multiples higher than what we generate in Karnataka. So an average budget of a mid-range film in Telugu is somewhat closer to a big budget film in Kannada right now, the numbers that we see. So when there's more money coming into the industry, there's automatically you get technicians of higher caliber, you get actors of higher caliber, and then when you're able to bring like best of the best people into their industry, obviously the industry will also flourish.
Okay.
So I think it's a cycle like that. We need to make sure or focus more on improving the walk-ins towards Kannada films.
Also, this week, you're competing with 3 more Kannada films, which is good. So you also think about the theatre setup, like when you get some 150 theatres. So you're happy with whatever is given?
No, very happy. See, ultimately, we can't fool the audience or fool anyone right now, because no matter what we talk about or what we do, what kind of a buzz we create before the release of the film, the first show or the first premieres or the first day of the film's release, we will know where the film will stand, because the word of mouth is something that nobody can compete with.
But generally, in particular with Rishi, you want to take time to be the mass hero. What is taking time?
Not at all. I think I enjoy doing mass films. I love masala films, and like I said, for me, if I say that I want to do a mass commercial film, and if I start working towards that, and somehow if the brief that I would probably give a writer or a director saying that, I want to do a mass commercial film, show me as this larger than life character or something which is heroic and stuff like that, these are the elements. Those are not the questions that I should, or that's not the brief that I should be giving in. It's again, it comes to the story. People need that good engagement in terms of story. So how do you find a good story which is compelling enough to fit all these things is what makes my job so much more challenging. And all said and done, I am as eager to, be in that space full-fledgedly as probably whatever you're suggesting. I'm probably much more eager than that. But when you're doing that, you have to do it in the right way. If you go wrong, then people might not give you another chance. So I am a little mindful of that. But that's something that's always been running in my mind, and God willing, because of this conversation, maybe that might happen very soon, and I'll wait and watch.
Okay. Is there any dark magic in your film, or is it like you have to think it's a psychological thing?
There is, as in those are elements which come. I would not reveal too much, because not for the sake of anything else, but just so that you have a better experience while watching the film. If
you have also observed, are they ready to experiment with, they love watching genres like what you do?
Absolutely, always. As in case, if you're talking about Rudra Garuda Purana, I'm sure, because there are many films like that which have done really well. Investigation films have done well. Certain elements of supernatural films also have done well. And if in case you mean to say my other films, previous films also, people have accepted it with open arms. So audience, I think if it's a good story, very engaging story, no matter what the genre is, they're always willing to come and watch. In fact, I think Parasite, the Oscar-winning film, when the film won an Oscar, I heard some of my mother's friends and some of the old uncles talking about the film.
Okay.
That was an eye-opener. And they had loved the film. So you can't call it a world cinema and say that, this is only for cinephiles or people who are only serious about cinema. So the thing is, we have to start sampling the audience with various kinds, and they're always open to a good story.
What can they expect with Rudra Garuda Purana? And
I think an engaging story, an honest attempt at narrating a story in the most engaging way, not trying to force fit certain elements just for the sake of it, and certain high points are there in terms of the story's graph. That's something that I'm looking forward to see how the reactions will be in theaters. And I think overall, after you watch the film, you will have a good aftertaste.
okay, that's a nice thing. Also, what next? That's important. Because you're one film at a time, we understand. But by the time you take up your next film, 1 year is over.
No, I've already finished almost 90% shoot for my next film, so
Okay.
it's almost done. So once Rudra Garuda Purana comes out, then immediately we'll start talking about it and we'll make the announcements. And very soon, in the next few months, that film also will come out. And after that, work is going on for multiple projects, and we'll have to.
We'll see you in multiple languages also.
Yeah, Telugu is something that I've become a little more active now.
Okay.
Thanks to Shaitan, all thanks to that. And Shaitan opened doors for me in the Telugu markets and stuff like that. So I'm trying to shuttle between both the industries now. But of course, this is home, and this is something that gives me a lot of joy and pleasure. But Telugu audience also has been really sweet and really welcoming.
All the best.
Thanks, ma'am. An absolute joy talking to you. And I know, I've always admired you for your passion and your enthusiasm.
Thank you so much.
And it's really nice to see that you've also started doing video formats, which I think if you remember, I had also told you that, please do, the video formats. I don't know if you remember that, but I'm glad that you've started to do it. So
Definitely taken your advice now.
thank you.
Take care.